ala soso walima kwala tina de
A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. This is Mother Taufika hosting the radio station today with questions from Universal Wombs, a sisterhood focused on the role of woman, bringing questions on marriage, Islam, and polygamy. We're broadcasting live from Flint, Michigan, and we have questions from all over the world. I would like to thank you all for joining us today. Our discussion today will be on Islam. The question for today is how to know the difference between being tested by Allah and oppression. The reason for this question is that sometimes we may be going through something very severe, and we don't understand if it is because of a test from Allah or because we are being oppressed. One example is in our marriage. We may be being oppressed, and we may not know that it's oppression. We may think that it's a test from Allah. How do we distinguish between the two? Please make this clear for us so that we can understand the situation that we're in and make life better for ourselves if it's not a test. Answering the questions today will be Imam Noah Fofana from Michigan. Please join in with your questions or comments. Please don't be afraid to ask your questions. We have 1 hour of free questions and discussion, so please feel free to give your input. Thank you. Okay, Imam, you can join the queue.
Oh, okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح ربي الحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وسلم تسليما. What was the question again?
The question is, how do we distinguish between being tested by Allah and oppression?
Oh, okay. Alhamdulillah. All right. Alhamdulillah. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Salli ala nabiy sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Well, for a righteous person, the oppression can be detected when, you see yourself being saying profane word in public. Like saying curse word in public for a righteous person, that's oppression. Because, in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says He do not like people to say any vulgar word, like a curse word in public, unless you be oppressed. Because oppression don't give you a choice except showing your ugly side. So the difference between oppression and test, test, you don't pick and choose your test. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the one give you test. Oppression, somebody choose to, like a slavery, go against your will and make things that you don't want to do and you know it's not right and force you to do it, or either, destroy you against your will. So it's really, easy to distinguish between oppression and test. So again, the test is not something you choose. You will detect, like, your kids going through a problem, your wife, your husband, and that's a test. But someone willingly create the test and trying to hurt you, that's oppression. So I think that's, the difference is like that. That's why marriage is something to love each other first. Love one, don't hurt each other. But willingly hurting somebody is an oppression.
So oppression is basically something that they do that's against your will, abusing you or saying negative things.
Right.
So in marriage, if this is something that your husband is doing to you, he would be oppressing you. It would not be a test.
Yeah, it will not be a test. It will be oppressing you, because a test is something that, you're looking for help and you'll be crying because something happened and you're looking for help. But oppression is someone, that willingly knowing that I'm doing this one is going to be hurt him or her, and let me do it and see to the extent that, the person can do something. So that's an oppression. That's why Allah says He do not like the curse word to be out except, being oppressed.
Okay.
So that shows that, oppression is something that push people to do negative things. And test is something that shows that, you are wise. The result of your test always would be, positive, according to Quran and Sunnah, if you say you're Muslim. Mm-hmm.
So Allah is going to put you through any test based on, the tests that Allah give you, are they like tests that, because He'll test you in any area. So a person who is oppressing you, they're basically abusing you.
Yeah, oppression is like a slavery. Oppression is like taking away your will. You don't have nothing to say. You can do nothing except, doing something to please the other person by force, not willingly, by force. So doing that is an oppression. Like, you don't even have nothing to say, and, you're going to do what they say to do or what he said to do or else. You have no will. It's like another form of slavery. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says He defends oppression from on Himself, and then He ordered son of Adam also not to oppress one another.
So now, can you look at oppression being like, if you're being asked to do something that is outside of Islam, if you're asked to do something that is not, from Allah, would that be a form of oppression if the person is forcing you to do those things?
No, because as long as there's a peace, that's not oppression. You can say no or yes. So that's not oppression. Oppression is you don't have a choice.
So if the poor person is forcing you to do that, that would be oppression.
Right, because that's why Allah says if you force even by hunger, to eat a pork or by thirst to drink wine, your life is threatened. You can do it. He forgive you. So that shows that you've been oppressed by nature or by something that you don't control.
Okay.
And test is something you control. You can have your reason, you can think, and then use it rationally. But oppression, you don't have no control of it. You're looking for help.
So oppression, you're looking for help, and then you're also looking for help with the test also, right? You're looking for help from Allah.
Right. So that's you got time to, oppression is like a need, and test is like a want. It's like you want it. You got to have it's like it's not a need, because you can. It's like a salat is a test from Allah for us to pray.
Right.
But if you don't want to pray, nobody's going to beat you. You just your conscience and you're disobedient to Allah. So, but if there's a Sharia, right now, you will say willingly to become Muslim or not to become Muslim, then you got choice to become Muslim. Then you're forced to do what Islam said to do because you choose to, with your word and promise to do it.
So your test from Allah is you're struggling to do what Allah asked you to do. You're basically struggling to obey Allah. So that's the test from Allah. And then when you are oppressed, it's like the other person is like abusing you physically, and you don't have any say so in the matter.
Well, other person is standing on top of you as God. He tells you to do something or else. But test is like you say you're Muslim. Women, you got to obey your husband, and Muslim men, you got to take care of his wife. So all this, is hard, but it's the test. That's what it is. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already wrote down, what you got to do. If you don't do that, that means willingly, it's like you're disobeying Allah's order. Or if you change it, because you can change oppression, you cannot change nothing. You just got to go for it. That's why slave, and the kids, they don't have no reason. So people make them do what, against their will to please themselves. So these are things Allah forgive them until they get the purity and the reason.
So I know that there was a prophet who was tested by Allah with like different types of sicknesses, and he lost all of his children and all of these things. So these are the types of tests that would be coming from Allah, listening to the story of this prophet.
Well, prophet, these are tests, but it's not oppression. The test is test. Like you willingly put yourself in school, and then you expect to have a test. It's like when you willingly put yourself in Islam, you expect to have a test from Islam. So, but oppression is like, you don't want to do it, you don't want to be Muslim, and then somebody, that's why Allah said in Islam, in the Quran, la ikrah fi din, there's no compulsion in Islam. There's no force in Islam. If you willingly accept to be Muslim, that means you accept to go to school. And the school, is composed with a test. So you're going to have to go through a test to have a, grade, to upgrade yourself. So the prophets, Allah always said in the Quran, he said, he took an oath with the prophet, ask them if they're ready to do this, and they say yes, and then he put them in. So that's not oppression. Now, women and husband marrying, you both know what's going on, and men don't ask to become a man when they come in this dunya. Women don't ask to become a woman when she comes in this dunya. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala set the law for both of them, But you got choice to become Muslim, and you got choice to not become Muslim, and then, you're going to die. And at your death, Allah going to judge you. Allah going to let you know, if you're not Muslim, this is what you get. If you're a Muslim, this is what you get. So the choice is on you. Now, if you take a shahada to become Muslim, it's composed with a test. And the test will make you a better person if you pass the test, same as the school. You got first grade, second grade, third grade. If you keep growing, upgrading yourself, you've seen the improvement of yourself. Same thing. But it's the will. If you drop off of school, hey, you're not going to be called as a student no more. Same thing as Islam. You drop off of Islam, you're not going to be called Muslim. You're going to be called kafir. So, but that means it's no oppression. It's something of you refuse to do it. And you got choice. That's why the free will is there for human beings. So we cannot oppress anybody.
Okay, ma'am. I'm satisfied with the way you answered the question. It was a beautiful explanation. We want to go ahead and take it to the audience to see if they have any questions, comments, or statements that they would like to add to the question for today. If you would like to ask any questions, you just need to press *61, and that will let you into the queue. Are there any questions for today outside in the audience?
Yes. Assalamu alaikum, Madam Tafika.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum, Imam.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay. There's someone here want to ask a question. The number is 9950. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay.
Wa alaikum assalam. You can go ahead with your question.
9950.
Yeah, I think I know who that is. I think that's Talia.
Okay. Hello, sister.
Assalamu alaikum, Sister Talia. You can go ahead with your question, your comment, or your statement.
Maybe the person mute.
Hello? No, it's not mute. Hello? Hello?
You just hit *61.
Yeah. Yes, she does.
Oh, she did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe something wrong with her phone, so we're going to see if there's another question.
There's no more person here right now.
You have another number?
No, not yet.
Okay. Anyone wanted to get into the queue, you would have to hit the *61, and that would make you available to give your comments, statements, or questions.
Okay. Okay, there's no question for now.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, I know there are a couple people on there that want to ask questions, so I'm not sure what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Well, alhamdulillah, like we were saying earlier, oppression is something that, we don't want to do, to each other.
Hello? Hello, Sister
Yes.
Khalifa?
Assalamu alaikum.
Hello, Sister Khalifa. Assalamu alaikum. Hello?
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Okay, I apologize for that.
Okay.
My question is, in the scenario of a marriage, if there is mistreatment, say, like in a polygamous marriage from a co-wife, now, is that oppression from that co-wife if she is causing a fitna to the other wife, or is that a test? Because I more so hear of I'm being tested from sisters that are in that situation, or if it's the husband, mistreating a wife, the wife is saying I'm being tested. Allah is testing me. But I mean, for me, from my personal opinion, I think it's I don't think it's right to put that on Allah, to put a ill treatment or mistreatment and to put it on Allah, because I think it's like almost like finding an excuse, like I have to go through this because Allah is testing me or Allah wants me to go through this. Does that make sense?
Imam, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
But you got to.
Like, do we blame Allah too much? It's like the saying, I might be going too far, but like how you hear a lot of people blame Shaitan for the bad stuff that they do, but at what point, when do you take accountability? When do you accept responsibility for what you are doing? You have common sense. You know the difference between right and wrong. So when do you stand up and look in the mirror and take accountability for your actions? So that's what I'm seeing on the flip side, where a person is feeling victimized, but they're saying, oh, Allah wants me to go through this. Like they believe Allah wants them to be mistreated. And I don't agree with that. So that's my question / statement / opinion.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Freedom is responsibility. Responsibility is accountability. So once you're free already, you're responsible for everything you do. And if you're responsible for your things, you're going to be accountable for it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's why He let the parents teach the kids up to 10 years until they see the puberty. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said He's not going to put a burden on nobody, that you cannot bear. Now, if you see yourself going through something, you got a choice to say no or yes, not go through it. But you can't blame on Allah. Negative things, you blame on Shaitan. Positive thing is from Allah. And negative thing is from two people, yourself and Shaitan. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah 91, وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا بَعْدَ أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. He created, the soul in due proportion, just balance. And whoever purifies the soul is a successful. Whoever corrupts the soul is a loser. So that means you got ability to corrupt your soul or to put yourself, in success. So Allah is not going to put a burden on nobody you cannot bear. So if you're free, that means you're responsible for all your acts. That's why Islam is for the free people. That's alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Sister, did you were you happy with the response?
Yes, I am.
Alhamdulillah. Okay. Are there any other people that would like to come into the queue? You can just hit *61.
Yes. Okay. Alhamdulillah. Many people also, they be saying that, if you allow one, I wouldn't do this. So Allah want me to do that. Maybe that's why He let me do it. These are the people, the very people that organize within themselves, doing wrong. And they want to blame it on Allah. See, because whatever you think about it, that's what you're going to put out. Instead of, working within yourself, trying to not do things that is not good, but you just want to do it because, you want to do it and blame on Allah. So these are the people that they're going to deal with Allah. Everybody can do wrong, but we refuse to do wrong because we believe in hereafter. We believe Allah is going to judge us. So that's why, we don't want to oppress ourselves. There's a verse in the Quran, in the Surah Al-Qiyamah, Surah 75. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, La uqsim bi yawm al-qiyamah. So He swear that day of judgment is going to come on. Wala uqsim bi nafsin lawama. And then self-blaming soul. When people do wrong within themselves, they're looking for one question, they're going to ask 20 people because the answer is not, satisfying them. They want somebody to satisfy them with the question because they're blaming within themselves. They're blaming themselves about what they're doing. Say, for instance, you drink. And then, you be like, oh, it's not Allah said, don't drink to come in, on the prayer, but I was not drunk when I come in the prayer. But you refuse because you're saying that because you're guilty of something. Allah said don't drink, But since you did, you want to find somebody to accept you, in your bad character. So, therefore, self-blaming soul. When you do things against Islam, you yourself going to fight yourself first. But you want to try to find somebody, to associate with you to share the sin by letting him say, yes, you did right. So we all know, we Muslims, we should pay attention to ourselves first.
So, Imam,
yes.
Amen. If you're going through something with another person, and that person is a part of your family, and that person is Muslim, and you're looking for, the pleasure of Allah, can you call that a test if there's something that is coming from that individual that is not, of Allah, and you basically are just trying to, be a role model to that person to help that person to be better themselves? I mean, would that be considered as a test, or is that oppression coming from that person?
Well, it depends on what you're going through with that person first. Mm-hmm. If you're going through with to the things with the person about money or food or it depends what you're going through with that person. If you can specify, then we can see, because certain things somebody might tell you, don't pray, don't obey Allah. You're going through that, and then you're going to obey that now, things like that. But I want to know what you're going through, what kind of problem you got with your family member. Yeah.
I'm basically speaking from my own personal self. I'm speaking like negative energy, things of that nature, or negative comments or negative statements. Things of that nature, not being fed, because that's the responsibility of the husband. But I'm basically, talking about like, negative comments,
okay.
and different things that are just not in the character of a loving Muslim.
I see what you're talking about. But the point is this: when you have a negative, environment or a negative thing coming to you, sometimes it's a mercy of Allah for you to, to correct it in the best way for other people to learn from you. It depends on your wisdom now. Remember, it's not what happened to Muslims, it's how Muslims responded. So now if somebody coming to you negatively and then you'll be able to change that negativity to positive, so alhamdulillah, you increase in knowledge, that means Allah bless you with the wisdom. And it's like Quran, when people used to do something, revelation come to say, don't do this, this is how you got to do. So after Quran is revealed, now with those who learn Quran and the Sunnah prophets, when the negativity come to them, they'll be like, oh no, not like this, it's like this. The character will show the opposite, and to secure the person, to show the person that, wow, there was another way to solve the problem other than violence, So when negative comes to you,
well, now what if
anybody is something for you, is a mercy of Allah, if you have a knowledge to show the people to get reward of it.
Now, what if you go to the person concerning the issue that you have, but it does not change? It consistently stays the same. So what do you do in that situation?
It depends how you go to that person first. Maybe your way to go to that person is not pleasing the person first. But you go to another person, which is the imam, and then to try to explain that person to solve the problem. That's the best way. To go to somebody that the person respect. You go to that person and you express yourself to the person. You show your wish, which is like, oh, I want to get along with that person. I want you to talk to that person, a just person, Then that person might know the way to approach, his or her loved one to express him or her what the other person wants, and he is the witness among you. Yeah.
Well, alhamdulillah, I'm satisfied with the answer that you gave me. And I just want to know if anyone else has any other questions or comments that they may want to add at this time. Is Sister Nasiha on the line?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh.
Alhamdulillah. Okay. You said, what was your question again? Because I think I kind of got it, but
okay. What is the difference? No, how do you tell if you're being tested by Allah or if you are going through an oppression?
Okay, for one, once you took your shahada, la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, you already testified that there is no God but Allah, and Allah is going to test you in that period.
Right.
How much you believe that, what you said, what you testified to. That's how I feel about it. I feel oppression is from people and from ourselves. And I was listening to the sister, and she was like, "What if your husband, is talking back to you as far as going and putting his hands on you? That's oppression. That's abuse." And I also heard if your co-wife is always bringing fitna and stuff. That's to me, that's arrogance. That's just being really. A sister is being. I can't think of the word that I'm saying, but that's just arrogance. That can fall into so many different categories. It could fall into jealousy. It could fall into she may feel some kind of way about herself, and she can be trying to bring the eyes more close to her and away from the other co-wife. That could go in so many different things, and for her, that's her arrogance. I wouldn't say that's oppression, because in order for a person to oppress you, you yourself have to allow it. Allah says, don't oppress yourself. So if you allow someone to bring negative energy to you and you accept it, and then you turn around and then you complain about it, hold on, go back to the beginning. What did Allah say? And a lot of times we don't go back to the beginning. What Allah said, what is, because Allah tells us, the Hadith tell us how we should go about handling certain situations. Whether we do what humans do, we do a lot of questioning because we're never satisfied. And Allah says that too. Man is never satisfied. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, how I look at it, I can't put them two together because I know one thing: Allah won't oppress us, and He doesn't oppress Himself. I mean, He does test us with our family, with our finances, with our health, with what we say, how our character is. I do know that, but the oppression that's coming from people and Shaitan. So that's how I feel about the oppression and where it comes from, and the testing from Allah in a marriage. We know that we're going to be tested anyway. Because Shaitan, once two people get together, he already coming in if you don't know how to ward him off, not individually but together. And Allah is going to test us in our marriage. How what we do for each other, what we do for ourselves in that marriage. Oppression, I think, is just somebody who just always want to keep you down, always want to keep you sad, don't want to see you grow. Every time that you bring something good, they jot it down. Like, who wants to go through life, being that? I would never say, if my husband put his hands on me, I would never say I'm being oppressed or I'm being tested from Allah. This dude just bust my whole eye. How is that being tested from Allah? So wait till your eye heal up and then turn around and do the other eye? Nah, man. Me, I seek refuge in Allah, ask Allah to forgive me, and I'll find my way to get away from that abuser. I mean, the test from Allah is you and him financially struggling, or something, with the children, or you just having issues between you and your husband, which is solvable, which is really not something that make you sad or make you not want to be with your husband or not be with your wife, or it's no unhappiness. It's always happy, even when you tested by Allah. It's always happy because you're being tested. But being abused and someone being harsh, talking to you and hurting your feelings, and you're not happy with them, that's oppression and abuse and arrogance. And why do you deal with that for years and years and years, and you find no peace in that? As Muslims, I feel we should know or see the signs that Allah sends, and if we get lost or can't find our way, read the Quran, or ask someone who has knowledge and understanding to where it makes sense. Because some people can give you understanding and it just doesn't make sense, and maybe that's the reason why a person will go to another person and ask for more advice, because it needs to make sense. We are people that needs to make sense in order for us to move on. Like, wow. But that's how I feel about that statement.
Alhamdulillah. That was a beautiful statement, sis.
Alhamdulillah.
And may Allah reward you.
Amen.
I mean,
yeah. You have something to say back for me? Because you always giving me that good knowledge, man. I'm going to talk to you.
Alhamdulillah, oppression, can only be detected after warning. Like you see in Pharaoh, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said he oppressed and he crossed the boundary. So he sent Moses, to go and warn him. So for him to be aware that is oppression. Sometimes people oppress, they don't know, but you got to warn them first. That's why I say the wise person, the response of the wise person can detect, if the person oppressing is, the oppressor know if he's oppressing or not. The response of the oppressor will determine if he was oppressing or he was doing something out of knowledge. But you got to, have the wisdom to, to respond to that person. Most of the time, oppression is only known after reaction. So sometimes you think you're doing right, but when somebody lets you know, no, that's not right, and you acknowledge it and you ask forgiveness, that means you are not trying to oppress that person. But if you say I don't care after knowing the truth, then that's your determination. So only after warning you can know that you're oppressing.
Alhamdulillah. So, sis, do you have any other questions you want to add to that, or you have any other statements you want to add to that?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear me.
Right. No, I don't got, but I got an awesome question for next week, though.
Alhamdulillah. Well, I have a question. I have a question based on the answer that you gave her. You said when you know that you're oppressing someone, you automatically seek forgiveness. So, in asking and oppressing and then being corrected and then seeking that forgiveness, what if a person don't do that? They just can you just ask forgiveness to Allah alone?
No, you can't, because you didn't oppress Allah. You oppressed somebody. So
exactly. So that's what I'm asking. The forgiveness goes to the person that you oppressed or the people that you oppressed.
Right. That shows that you don't intend to do that. That was not your intention.
Right.
But if you're trying to prove you're trying to justify your oppression, then you intend to do it.
Right. Well, I don't have any more questions, but if there is anyone else in the audience that may have more questions, now is a good time to hit that *61 so that you can get into the queue, because we do have a few minutes left for the radio station. Okay, Imam, it doesn't look like we have any more questions. So if you have some closing comments that you would like to add, and then I can close out the radio station, then you can give your closing dua.
Okay, alhamdulillah. That was a good question today, and people need to be real about getting real. So Islam, like I always say, you have to trust Allah, and you have to know that hereafter exists. So once you understand that, your action will change on the earth. So right now, Muslim, we have to know one thing. The other people that's not Muslim, they're enjoying this dunya. They're doing everything they want to do to please themselves. But we're not doing this. We're not doing that. So how can, at the end of the day, you're going to find yourself in hellfire with the same person that's enjoying dunya? So you got to be real in your Islam. Otherwise, you're going to lose this dunya and lose hereafter. So that's my advice for everybody. When you say you're Muslim, be a Muslim. Don't just have a name of it. But you're not going to be perfect, but try at least be sincere about getting sincere.
Amen.
So alhamdulillah, I ask Allah to forgive us, and I ask Allah to guide our family, and I ask Allah to give us understanding about Islam, and I ask Allah to give us energy to worship Him, and I ask Allah also not give us a test we can fail.
Amen.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
Ameen.
We would like to thank you, Imam Noah Fufan, for helping us today with your beautiful explanation of our question, and may Allah reward you. Ameen.
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 We would also like to thank our audience for listening today. And we would also like to thank our questioners and our people who gave comments. We appreciate you being here with us today, and we pray Allah that He blesses you and rewards you for your input. And we pray to see you also at the next radio station. We would also like you to all join us next week at the same time, Monday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Also, we have a new Facebook page. It's at WMBS Radio. And we have uploaded some of our videos and some of our, and if you have any comments that you would like to make toward those videos, or if you'd like to broaden your understanding of something that was said in those videos, you can leave your comment and we'll use those in our next radio station. So Jazak Allahu khairan for everyone for coming and being a part of our radio station today. We pray that Allah bless you all, and we pray that you all have a blessed day. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ameen.
Ameen.
Muted.
فذكر فإن ذكرى تنفع المؤمنين